Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. This is James Harnsberger, and let's get started on Get Started. Hey, so we talked a lot this month about a lot of the issues that we have coming up about the financial stuff, right? And so the way that we were looking at it, a lot of times I think we get stuck because we're thinking in our mind, I don't know where to start. You ever have that day where you get up and you just like, God, I don't know where to start, right? Got a lot of crap I got to deal with, and where do I start? And what happens is that we get these patterns, right? Remember, we talked about patterns and routines. Some of the patterns and routines that show up in our financial life, I think we talked a little bit, a couple of broadcasts back, were like things like the auto pay, right? You ever have something on auto pay and then months later you look at a statement by chance and then all of a sudden you figure out, oh yeah, I forgot I had that on auto pay, and probably haven't even looked at the invoice or the receipt, right? Had the gas and light bill on auto pay, and about 5 or 6 months into it, check it, and there's a mistake, right? And you wonder, how many times did that happen, right? And so what happens is a lot of times when we're jumping into our financial stuff, one of the reasons that we get stuck is because of the routines, right? The routines that we have developed, or maybe the patterns that we've developed. Remember, we talked about John, and John had a pattern and a routine that he had built into his day-to-day activity that included 2 chocolate Frosties from Wendy's, right? A day, right? He should probably build in a checking on his heart every once in a while too. It might be a good thing. But anyway, so these routines and these patterns, they start forming habits, right? We got these habits. So it's not that we don't know where to get started, right? It's really we've got patterns and habits and routines. And then we get confused or we get frustrated and we say, well, where do I start? You know, it's like, I want to get all this stuff under control. And then we talked about how, you know, oftentimes what happens, we get into a situation and think, you know, well, this time's going to be different, or this time I'm going to turn it around. And I really, really, really mean it this time, right? A couple months later, nothing got turned around except us, right? So why is it that we get stuck when it comes to our financial life? So we're going to cover this week all of the little things that happen, not that many actually, that explain why we get stuck and how to get past getting stuck. One of the first things that we have to look at are the patterns and routines, right? Our financial patterns and routines. So let me start with maybe asking a question. You ever have a time where you had to get ready to do something, like maybe take final exams in high school or college, right? Ever prep for like finals? Or maybe you had to get ready for a job interview, right? Or maybe you had to get ready and get stuff together for filling out a credit app, or maybe you were going to buy a house, right? The thing about it is that all of these things that we do, we just jump in and we just get started doing, right? But there's a process, and a lot of times the habits or the patterns and the routines that we've developed work against us. And then we don't follow a process, right? The process sort of works like this. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a hack today, and we're going to build on it each day through the end of the week, because we're getting ready to go into March and we're getting ready to do some cool stuff. And I think part of the thing that we really want to do is look at how do we get the information and how do we make sense of the information, and what do we do with the information to actually turn around anything in our financial life. And the way it works is it's sort of an order, sort of like the order of operations in mathematics, right? You have to get organized, then you should get ready, Then you should get started, then you get done, and then you get there, wherever there is. And if you can break this down into the steps, which we're going to work on each week, every day, we're going to take another part of this process. And what does it mean to get organized? What does it mean to get ready? What does it mean to get started? What does it mean to get going? And what does it mean to get doing, to get done? The reason we get stuck financially is we have patterns and routines that work against us. Some of them have developed into habits, right? 2 chocolate Frosties is an addiction. Don't get confused. And so what we want to do is figure out how to flip that and make that work to your advantage. How'd you like to get up every day and not have the hassle of wondering or worrying about your financial life, right? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? And you can do that. Anybody can do this. And I've watched people do this that said, oh, I can't do that. It's too hard. No, it's not too hard. It's actually pretty easy. But what it takes is it takes a different approach. And a lot of times we have to look at things from a different perspective. It's sort of like the way I say, somebody said, well, I don't really like the way that looks. Well, just maybe change your point of view. Look at it from a different point of view. Or I don't like what that person said. It's what the person said. I mean, you don't have to like it. You don't have to not like it. It's just what they said, right? But a lot of times when it comes to our financial life, we internalize and take a lot of this stuff personal because it is personal, right? It's our financial life. And so when you're sitting down and you're trying to figure out, why am I feeling stuck financially? I'll tell you why you feel stuck financially. Same reason I felt stuck, and I was stuck financially. And it's the same reason everybody else gets stuck financially. We have patterns and we have routines that are working against us, and we need to flip them. And if we can flip them, and we can, then what happens is you open up a new way to do an old thing. And you've been very effective doing this before. You ever get ready for that exam, right? Or that job interview? Remember we talked about that? And then you went in and nailed it, right? You just absolutely nailed it. Nailed that exam, right? Got the finals, whatever. Well, the process works a little bit the same. Now, I'm not talking about sitting up late at night, burning the midnight oil and hitting the books. No, I'm talking about starting your day in a particular way that gives you the opportunity to make a choice. And that choice is what you're going to do from taking where you are here and going to where you want to be there. That's the first thing that we've really got to decide. And if you've decided that you want a financial life that gives you the financial security, the financial freedom, however you describe that, well, then the rest of this is going to be pretty easy. Where a lot of people get stuck, and here's sort of the hack, is they don't define with clarity. They don't define with specificity where there is. They say, well, I'd like to have more money, right? I'd like to have some more money. And so they walk out of the house, go to the car, on the street or on the ground, they find a quarter. Well, there's some more money, right? It's a quarter. Now, I sort of make light of it, but really what I'm trying to make is a point here. When you say more money, how much is more money? When you say more of anything, how much is more of anything? And what happens is we get into this pattern and we say things, but we actually mean something else. We mean a lot more money, right? But we don't say that. You ever say something and you meant something else and then somebody got confused, even yourself, right? I do that all the time. And so what happens is when we're looking at our financial life, the reason that we get stuck is the patterns and the routines have taken hold, and we've developed these habits that work against us. So it's not that we're stuck, we're not moving. Right? Same thing, but it's looking at it a different way. It's not that we're stuck in place financially. We're not moving forward financially. So there's the clue. If you're not moving forward financially to a place you want to be that's specific, then you are stuck. Yes, I agree. So I want to get past being stuck and show you how to get unstuck so that you can move forward to the next step or place that you want to be. The part that you've got to do that's really important is take some time today and sit down and write down 2 or 3 things that you could define where you'd like to be financially. I'd like to be financially in 1 year where I'm making X dollars per year. All right, well, that's pretty specific. I would like to be financially in a year where I'm buying a new home. Okay, well, that's pretty specific. I would like to be in a place 1 year from now where all of my credit cards are paid off. All right, well, that's pretty specific. And so framing things a certain way or saying them a certain way is not necessarily what we mean, but it is what we say. And so that contributes to the angst, the frustration, sometimes the anger that and it's not that we're pissed off at the credit cards, we're just pissed off because, we're not moving, right? And so to some degree, you're absolutely right. You're not moving forward, so therefore you are stuck because you haven't defined the next step. So play around with that a little bit today. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process and really walk down and break down each of the components of getting organized, getting ready, getting started, getting going, getting doing, and getting done. And it works in any aspect of your life, particularly the financial aspects of your life, because it actually allows you to move forward. You're actually moving, you're doing, you're going to the next step. When we're not moving and we're not doing, we're probably stuck deciding. We haven't really decided. And we can say that we've decided, but we're still not moving, right? So we're stuck. And so financial success, however you define it, because it's different for everybody, right? It means something different for everybody. However you define that, that's the one thing that we've got to pay attention to. Because as clear as you can be and as detailed and specific as you can be, the faster the process kicks in. And then all of a sudden you get enough momentum and then you get that flywheel effect, right? You ever have the flywheel effect where you really you are crushing it, right? So what you want to do today is just kind of maybe go back and watch the video, think through the process. If you feel stuck financially, maybe take a notepad and write down 3 things, right? I feel stuck because, or I feel stuck in it. We have all these emotions and these feelings, and these are emotions and feelings. Doesn't make it true, even though it does feel real, right? And so we get a little bit confused about how to take that next step. If you've ever got up in the morning and started your day wondering, where do I start? And I'm overwhelmed and I just got to get a hold of my financial life. Well, guess what? Me too. I've done that too. And a lot of people feel that same feeling. But what's so cool is once you figure out how this all works, and once you figure out the steps that make it work, you never forget that. It's like riding a bike. You may not have ridden a bike for many years, and then all of a sudden somebody gives you a bike and says, here, go ride a bike. And bam, you're on the bike and you're ready to ride. All right, go back and watch a video if you can a little bit later. Make sure that you at least take a little bit of time and do a couple of the little hack exercises, because they will help and they will set the stage for what we're going to do tomorrow. My name is James Harnsberger, and this is the Morning Get Started. If you see there at the bottom, and you want to go to that website and drop in your email, we're going to be going into a very unique program, 100% free in the month of March. And we're really going to help work with people that really want to get unstuck and really work on getting started financially, right? No matter where you're at, we could always use a little bit more oomph in the engine if you could. And so we want to work with as many people that want to get started in creating the financial life that they desire. All right, have an awesome day, and we will see you on the next broadcast. Take care.